Hello, this is Jacob here today again with Small Business Chat. As always, Mr. Matt Swires here joins me today as well. But we have a special new guest, Mr. Andrew Campbell, coming in, also known as Mr. Devine himself. Andrew, say hello to everyone.
What's happening, guys? It's AC Devine.
AC. I forgot
Yes, sir. You forgot the AC.
I forgot the AC. I'm so sorry. Speaking about AC, man, it is really hot today in North Carolina. I'll tell you what, it's like 90 degrees. I'm not joking. 90 degrees. Matt, how's your AC going on over there?
Well, the AC is
pumping.
Yeah, the AC is fine in the house, but in the office, it's not so much. But again, AC Devine will find that out tomorrow when he comes back in the office, as you will. But yeah, we'll be congregating in one of the few offices that actually has air conditioning. But in any event, speaking of hot things, the entertainment industry, right?
Yeah, we're here to talk about the entertainment industry today. Multiple versions. One will be, we'll just ask Andrew, since he obviously, he works for us here at the trademark company as one of our salespeople, but he also does some professional wrestling. So, Andrew, we're gonna talk to you about that today. So, if you just don't mind me opening it up here, can you tell us about maybe your journey into the world of professional wrestling?
I don't mind at all, Jacob. Yes, sir. Salesman by day, professional wrestler by night. AC Devine himself. I started my journey, about 4 years ago when I started training to become a professional wrestler. COVID-19 happened right after I had my first match. So I had to wait about 2 years to even wrestle again. But now taking over the independent scene, winning championships across the entire East Coast. So now it's just time to take over the whole world.
By the way, I'm sorry, I got to chime in here. My apologies. We actually should probably have announced he is. I'm sorry, AC. What championship you hold right now? You have a belt. What is it?
Not just one. I got two. We have Pure Temptation. My tag team is Extreme Shock Wrestling Tag Team Champions and World Tag Team Champions for American Pro Wrestling.
Yeah, man. Congratulations, man. There's no slackers around this place, man. Wow. Look at that.
I have been to a few of his matches, and wow, it is entertaining. I've only gone to actually like one or two WWE wrestling matches, but I sat so far away, it's kind of takes you out of the experience. But seeing Andrew like front row, man, it's pretty entertaining. I saw Carlito live as well, which I grew up with him. I didn't know how much he spit apples until I got to that show, but man, he's a character. So
wait, is that like an expression for those of us who aren't like I'm into wrestling, or did he physically spit apples?
Oh yes,
he did. Physically spits apples. That's his whole thing.
Like whole apples or parts of apples?
Parts.
it
turns
like
into
mowing you
parts.
down with like a machine gun, like with apples coming out of his mouth.
Matt just thinks he just puts whole apples in his mouth and just puts.
Well, wrestlers are big, man. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Andrew, this is just a personal question of mine, but how did you come up with the name AC Devine, other than just adding the first two parts of your initials and then Devine after it? But how did you come up with the name?
So I actually earned the last name. One of my trainers, he gave me the last name Devine because that's his last name, and so putting in the blood, sweat, and tears through training, I had the honor of getting his last name, and my job now is to take that and make my own career. So my job is to do the best I can possibly can do, and I think I'm doing a pretty good job so far. Winning the championships right now. So I'm hoping to win more.
That's awesome. A Rocky Johnson in training. So
exactly.
That's awesome.
Exactly.
So I hope you will remember me and Matt whenever you get really popular. We get free tickets to the WWE WrestleMania whenever you're in it, right?
Ringside.
Awesome. Have you ever done a caged match before?
Yes, I actually have. It's actually one of my first ever matches. I'm not gonna lie, I was only like 3 or 4 matches in, and I had my very first cage match one night. No blood, but
that was gonna be my question. Was there any blood? Okay, no, good
that there was no blood, but they don't lie when they say that steel has no forgiveness. That that honestly was like one of the most painful matches I've ever been in, whether it was my face going across the steel or my back getting hit across the steel. Like, it is no joke. You may think, oh, it doesn't hurt that bad. It really does.
Awesome. So wrestling is no joke, I'll tell you what. Andrew, what inspired you to pursue a career in wrestling?
Ooh, this one is very inspirational because when I was growing up, I was diagnosed with pediatric cancer. So I actually had lesions in my femurs and my skull. So I wasn't able to play any type of contact sports growing up. And the one thing that helped me get through all the chemotherapy and all that was professional wrestling. So it's always just been my dream to go out and impact those little kids that are struggling as well through professional wrestling. And I finally had the opportunity to do so. And that's my goal now, is to see how many people I can impact through professional wrestling.
Wow, that is great motivation.
I'm sort of silenced. Like, I know I'm being ironic by saying I'm sort of silenced, but because we're on audio here, I have to just sort of say, holy crap, I didn't know it went that deep, man. Wow. Now I'm touched, but thank you. Thanks for sharing. Wow.
For sure.
Yeah, Andrew, I mean, thank you for touching on that. It was very touching to hear you say that. And, that helps me, just in my everyday moving forward. I don't know. I discussed this in any other podcast we ever did, Matt, before, but my mother was recently diagnosed with breast cancer like a month or two back. So, I'm working through that as well. So just hearing what you're saying is motivating me to keep, to not only motivate myself to move forward, but also help her as well. So thank you for sharing that.
For sure, bro.
Awesome.
Yeah, right.
What are my next question was going to be, what were some of the biggest challenges you faced starting out? But, I guess we already got that question answered. Maybe like we could talk about some memorable moments for you as well, Andrew. What were maybe some of the highlights of your wrestling career so far? We know obviously one of them being you getting the titles, winning the titles for yourself. Mm-hmm. Do you have any other ones you can think of?
Let's see. I'll give one of my most recent, accomplishments. We traveled to Florida a few months ago. I think it was January. We traveled to Florida, and this was like a 10-hour drive, almost there and back. And we went to a seminar that night, and this was with EC3. EC3 is a former WWE superstar, Impact Wrestling superstar. He's currently the NWA World Champion, and he praised me so much throughout the entire seminar, and that he still has some things that he wants to tweak, but it's just safe to say that the highlight of my night that night was to be praised by EC3 and have him tell me that I do have a future in this business. And I also went to another seminar a month or two ago with WWE scout Gabe Sapolsky, and he told me the exact same thing. So those are like two of the biggest things that you can ever be told in professional wrestling, and to have those two people tell me that, I think that was pretty big.
That's awesome. And then of course I'm just thinking like if you had like a buddy sitting next to you and they're like, AC, you have a future in this business, then they just look at your buddy and they walk off. It's just like the dude be like,
yeah.
Hey, what about? They're like, yeah, well, have a good night. It's rough, man. Well, so I have a question for you, like, because you're bringing it into branding a little bit here and all that sort of stuff. So we talk about AC Devine and such. You have are there multiple different leagues that you sort of wrestle for?
Yes, so there's a whole bunch of different promotions. It varies throughout state to state. You have some good ones and you have some not so good ones. Yeah. But there are a whole lot of different promotions that you can wrestle for, and a lot surprisingly are they have TV deals. So the more exposure you get, the better your chances are of getting seen.
And so we would just say like, so your persona is AC Devine, and and forgive me, remind me again, what's the current tag team's name?
Pure Temptation.
And what was it Did you have any? You've had other ones before, right?
Yes, the previous one was Divine Dynasty.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and such. And so you're allowed to use these names basically across several different mediums, right? Like in different leagues, right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, because you're going to use them. Okay, so because for us, and this, just bringing this in, Jacob, I hope I'm not like sabotaging you here too much here.
No, go for it.
Yeah, but like for us, from like a branding perspective, sort of twisting this into sort of like as you enter into the entertainment industry, sort of when you walked into the whole wrestling thing, you obviously had like an idea of, okay, well, I have to have a persona, right? But did you have the flip side of that idea, which was how do you actually protect it so that you're the only one that could use that persona? Like there can't be another AC Devine out wrestling in California. Now you know, though, right?
Right. No, I know now because working through the trademark company. But starting out, you definitely do have to do your research and see, is there another person that has a similar name to me? Because I don't want any confusion. I don't want AC Devine, but instead of Devine, it's Divine. Like I don't want nobody else to have that as well.
Yeah, because when they book you, you want people to know. And I think that goes throughout the entertainment industry in general. But and so one of the things that I'm always fascinated with, and I know we've talked around the office about this, is like you sort of create your own persona right now, right? And you go out. But then as we just heard recently, some of like the major news, like it's fascinating because I get like the trademark wire, right? And it's just like, one of the most famous wrestlers, in my opinion, ever to exist, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, just recently acquired the rights to The Rock through WWE Entertainment. That may be redundant. It's WWE, right? Or WWE Entertainment. Who the hell are those people? What do they talk about?
World Wrestling Entertainment.
Okay, so WWE Entertainment is redundant because it's the E already stands for it. But like, how did he do that? Do you remember?
No.
Oh, okay. He got like a board. He finally got on the board. Like,
yes.
If you go to like WWE, they're going to own all. They're going to insist on because it's their airwaves, right? Mm-hmm. They're going to insist on basically owning all the personas and all that sort of stuff. Even though I've seen Chris Jericho recently that says that Chris Jericho himself is applying for new trademarks, and that who's the Rhodes guy that just won at WrestleMania?
Cody Rhodes.
And they said that he just applied for a bunch of new trademarks. But I thought that it would have been WWE if you're going to use them because effectively it's their airwaves, and they're not going to let you put your brand across on there. They're going to own your brand. But so when you first start off, like you own it, you brand it. But then as you get bigger, that like it's sort of like, well, I may have to give it up, and and or somebody else is going to own the rights to it because they want to be able to rebroadcast and all that sort of stuff, right?
100%.
Yeah. All right. Well, we hope that you get there, obviously. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Nice you just sign that out to AC Devine. Hey, have you registered AC Devine as a trademark? Oh, we should.
Have you paid the government fees, Andrew?
Yeah.
Well,
we can waive our fees for you.
NFT trademarks, guys.
Yeah, put the NFT trademark. Yeah, there's no government fees, and he can just print one himself.
Andrew, are you ready for your next question?
Yes.
Awesome. All right. So, Andrew, since I've already seen you a couple times in person in the office, man, you're pretty ripped, man. What do you do for a training regimen? You do 100 push-ups a day? Do you bench 300 pounds? Do you do sit-ups twice a day for 300 times each? What do you do?
I'll tell you, it does vary. But recently, I've been training with another professional wrestler. His name is Victor Andrews. Victor Andrews has been on fitness magazines. He's been professional wrestling magazine. He's been all over. He's also a model as well. But I've been training with him recently, and he's been putting me through some insane workouts. Some of them are required like 500 rep workouts and like Spartan workouts. There's a whole bunch of different things that I do to stay in shape because cardio is a very big thing in professional wrestling. That's what some people don't really understand. They think, it's just you got to be big and strong to throw people around, but you also have to have enough stamina to last 10, 15 minutes in the ring because it's one thing to do the moves, but you also have to express your character as well. So and you have to do that times 10 because you have to be entertaining. Nobody wants to see a boring wrestler. So it's a lot, but
like Chris Jericho. Anyway, go ahead.
Gotcha. That's awesome. Nobody wants.
That, by the way, that was Matt saying that, not AC Devine. Chris, he'll be happy to wrestle you anytime.
Yes, anytime.
Awesome, Andrew. Awesome. So just getting into it more mentally, obviously, because that's part of training and preparation. Is there anything you do like post match, and also to add onto that as well? Is there any time where, like, obviously everyone gets butterflies before they're about to do anything in front of people? Is there anything you do mentally to prepare yourself for those moments?
Myself personally, I do like my own personal warm up before a match. But one of the big things that I do with me, if I'm wrestling by myself or if I'm wrestling with my tag team partner, we always pray as well before we go out, and we also
nice
if we have a tag team match, and we pray with our opponents as well, because we all want to go home at the end of the night, and we don't want to go to the hospital after the match. So we at least try to keep it safe.
That's awesome. You mentioned you wrestle yourself or whatnot. I once wrestled myself and I lost. I'm still trying to figure that one out.
I thought I was going to lead into a dad joke there for a second, Matt.
That's all I got today. All right, I do got a question, because you got to go, in your mental preparation, all that sort of stuff. What's the biggest dude you ever picked up off the mat and had to body slam or something? How big was he?
Oh man, let's see. At least 380. At least 380.
Dude.
Yeah.
Dang.
And this was on my shoulders. So he had him up on my shoulders and slammed him.
Dang. That's a lot. That's like, I don't want to make any inappropriate jokes here. But maybe I will later. But still, that's a lot. Holy cow.
Yeah. Awesome, Andrew. Awesome. Next good question for you, Andrew. What do you think about the current state of the wrestling entertainment, like WWE in general? I ask because, back when I was younger, just to give you a little story, obviously I was very into wrestling and WWE when I was younger. And I thought it was real for the most part whenever I got told that it wasn't my father. But no spoilers for anyone that's watching or listening. But how I actually found out that wrestling was fake was not what I mean.
Not the F word, Jacob. Not the F word.
Okay. I was watching John Cena. John Cena was my guy back in the day. He was. I was so obsessed with him. I used to wear his armbands. His double armbands.
Oh yes, sir.
I would wear them to school. Everyone thought I was a weirdo, but I didn't care. I was I was a huge fan of his. And I remember that he was going up against JBL. Remember him?
Yes, sir.
And they were in this SummerSlam or something. And JBL and him had a feud. And they took it out to the parking lot. And John Cena was leaning up against the limo. And JBL took his I think it was his staple Cadillac or whatever it was with the Longhorns on the front. And he ran right into John Cena full force with his car. And I was like, Dad, I went to my dad. I was like, oh my God, John Cena just died. I just saw him. It exploded. The limo exploded when JBL hit him. Oh my God. And my dad was like, yeah, son, that wasn't real. I'm like, oh, what? Ruined me.
He hit him with a car?
Hit him with a car? Yeah, go look it up.
Was Cena inside the car?
No, he was outside. He was
outside the car.
He was leaned up against the car, the limo, on the ground. And JBL got in his car and then literally ran into him on purpose, obviously.
Wow.
Yeah. So
man,
that was my introductory into that. So just dovetailing on that though, Andrew, what are your thoughts on the current state of wrestling entertainment? Do you think it's the best it's ever been? Do you think it's better times have been in the past, or what do you think?
I'll be completely honest with you. Everything has its highs and lows. Back in the 90s, there was the Attitude Era with Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock, and that was the peak, the highest wrestling has ever been. And then, of course, it slowly started going down with viewerships and all that. But now it's starting to get that peak back up again, because they just had the highest viewed or the most successful WrestleMania of all time. which is last weekend. So that right now we're starting to get back into that peak of what it used to be back in the early and late 90s.
Yeah, and without going through too much of it, because there's been some stuff that they've had some challenges to get through. They've also gone from being a privately held company just in the last, I think, few years, and obviously there's a lot of stuff that the former owner is going to be going through and all that sort of stuff. But then, to a publicly held company and a big company, and so the challenges also, in essence, cleaning up some of the stuff from the old school has also got to be a huge challenge as well, because I think you end up losing some of your biggest stars because of it. And it's a challenge, but I think they're doing a great job of actually continuing on. And actually, now that I think about it, that's probably one of the major things that led them to reach back out to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and say, hey, come on, we need you for this WrestleMania. Because with that transition, with everything that they're going through, with the negative press and all that sort of stuff, he just added like this star appeal to it that really was fascinating. Drew, I'm sorry, did you hear as well, this like Stone Cold was, I guess, supposed to be a part of it as well, but they couldn't come to contractual terms with him? I don't know if you heard anything about that.
Yeah, I heard that they couldn't come to a financial agreement for Stone Cold to come back.
Yeah. So, I mean, which is amazing to me. I mean, I guess the guy's independently wealthy enough. I'm sure they were going to pay a decent amount of money, something, just get his name back out there, if no less. But I don't know, but all good stuff. All right. Sorry, Jacob, guide us through some more.
No, you're good. You're good. I had kind of off the books here, Andrew, question, but so obviously, as what you're doing right now, how do you transition to getting into the WWE? Is there a certain person or a certain amount of wrestling you have to do to get to that point to get into the WWE? Is there it's just who you know to get into the industry, or how would you ever be able to get to the WWE?
It used to be a lot different.
Yeah, that's what we were sort of talking about a minute. Sorry, not funny. Sorry, but funny, but not funny.
But yeah, it used to be a lot different. You used to have to go to a tryout, and if they liked you, then they would put you on TV. But now it's honestly just about who sees you and when they see you, because it could just be a clip that goes viral online, and they may like it and they may want to bring you on TV. It honestly just varies. One of the guys that I actually started training with and been on a few shows with and wrestled with, his name is Javon Evans. He's recently just debuted on their developmental TV show NXT. He just had his first match, I think, last Tuesday. And he went to a tryout with Gabe Sapolsky as well, and Gabe Sapolsky liked what he saw. He went to the WWE, had a tryout there as well, and he passed their tryout and he got signed, and now he's on TV. So like it just all depends on what you do and when you do it.
Can you get the crowd up on their feet? And like your persona. And I'm going to throw this out because I'm Christian all day long, and I hope this isn't blasphemous. But for years, I've just wanted someone to basically have the persona of the Pope, and basically, like, here comes the Pope, and his signature move is the crucifix.
Oh my goodness!
And then you could have a crossover. You could actually like wrestle like a female wrestler who does like the head spinning around and vomiting on him and stuff like that from The Exorcist. That would just be awesome. And he crucifies her, and then she's finally like this normal, just hot chick now.
Good one, man.
I'm sorry. Y'all always wondered you probably did wonder what I do with my free time. There you have it.
Thinking of
stupid crap to talk about.
Oh, that's a good one, Matt. I like it. Awesome. I got one last one for you, Andrew, and then we can move it on to the next subject that Mr. Matt's going to take over. Let's hit it up with the future. Obviously, we talked about. I mean, ultimately, I think you would obviously want to be in the WWE. But what are some goals and aspirations that you might have in your wrestling career moving forward? And is there any other specific championships or achievements that you're aiming for, or maybe there's some other ventures you're currently working on outside of wrestling?
So my current goal for the future is to eventually get signed. If I can make a full-time living and be happy with professional wrestling, that's my ultimate goal. Doesn't matter where It could be AEW, it could be WWE, it can be TNA, NWA. As long as I can pay my bills with professional wrestling, I think I'd be happy with that. But future championships, I would love to be NWA World Champion, but not only that, WWE Champion as well is definitely probably going to be the goal for the future.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Awesome.
The nice thing about it is we watch all these guys come back, and this isn't to say that it can't happen in the next 2 to 3 years or whatever the time frame is, but you watch all these guys coming back after you. A lot of these guys wrestle until what? They're like 40s or 50s, which is very many decades off for you. And that's really cool. So I mean, it takes time to break in.
Mm-hmm.
I would actually think, and I don't know if the market's there for you, but at some juncture as well, like would it be awesome if you can actually start wrestling at those ranks, but then also, open up your own like wrestling school, to like a gym, to like basically come back and teach the next generation, but then you're actually become like basically like not only like a property owner or landowner because you own the gym, but then also you're getting, kids and young men to basically pay you fees to basically do that while you're out on the road, and then you just hire somebody else, once you hit the road and you get there, and you get to a point where you're just making an appearance once every, once a week or once every 2 weeks. And as you get older and you retire, I'm planning your life out for you, by the way. And such, just sprinkle in some, significant other, some kids.
That's a goal though.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good damn goal. It's nice. It's good to have goals.
Yes,
I think everyone should have them. That's fantastic. All right, what do you got, Jacob? You got stuff for the old boring guy, or what?
Well, yeah, we're passing it on over to you to take over this new version of the entertainment industry, or the variation from what Andrew talked about with wrestling. Matt, what do you got for your version?
For my version of like my 2 cents worth on when you enter into the entertainment industry and all that sort of stuff.
Sure, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Whatever, like from my version, like you're talking about, like just like some tips and all that sort of stuff, just from listening, to all this, and for anyone who happens to listen, Andrew's just a great shining example, because over all the years of doing this with the trademark company and otherwise, we see folks out there that are just getting into it. And the first thing I would say is, Drew basically told you, like, he hasn't registered his trademarks or anything like that, but I don't think that's really a necessity when you're first breaking into it. I know that's what we specialize in at the trademark company, but really, learn your craft, hone your craft, and get known, because once you start using a trademark in the United States, it's your trademark. That's, we all know that, right? I mean, you don't have to per se file for it. It's best to file for it if you've got the cash, but if you don't, it's going to be yours. But, in the entertainment industry, I think you have to also be willing to basically, like, even though you build up a persona, just like Drew talked about, like if he ends up making it to where he wants to go, again, it's their airwaves. So he's going to have to give up rights to that. Right, Drew?
That's right. 100%.
Yeah. Like we just talked about, like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson just got it back. And again, it's like, because if you think about it for a second, it goes beyond just WWE. It's, it doesn't matter if it's Capitol Records or whoever it is that's broadcasting the movie studios or whatnot. It's their air. They're the ones that have built it up and such. And so they're only going to put it across if they actually have an ownership interest in it, because then they are the ones that can do the merchandising and all that sort of stuff. But you figure that out as you go along, but just be, keep knowledge. You should talk about it to somebody, about it at some time as you start getting bigger into the entertainment industry, because I think that is a very important thing. What do you think, Jacob?
Yeah, I think of it as well. And I think, like I said, dovetail on Matt as well, but Andrew, I've known you for like a year or so now, or two. You balance what you do professionally for both. Like, it's not even like wrestling is a side gig for you. You seriously do take and put all of your efforts into both, which is something to really boast about for what you do. So I commend you on that. Also sharing that other motivational side of yourself today. Thank you for being the strong man that you are, that you carry into your professionalism, into both wrestling and your current job here at the trademark company. So me and Matt could both agree on that we both commend you on that. So thank you for being who you are, and just everything in general. So thank you, Andrew. Matt, we have the second topic or subject of the day, speaking of also entertainment industry, I also want to add at least into this is Matt brought it to my attention the other day when we were talking about subjects for this podcast today. I once watched a episode of Black Mirror. I don't know if you guys are into Black Mirror or not, but there was this one episode in particular. It's the newest season out with Salma Hayek is how you say your name?
I may watch it now.
Yeah, it's there you go. But it was an episode. I'm not trying to spoil anything, but it's about basically not identity theft, but more of just deep faking. Which is where in the episode they kind of use Salma Hayek's appearance and then also her voice without her permission, and then used it to sell a movie or a TV show without, again, her permission. So Matt has his own subject for today, which is in the news as well. Matt, do you want to go ahead and take this one away?
Well, first, can you slowly describe what Ms. Hayek was wearing in excruciating detail? Slowly.
She was wearing a beige dress.
Sorry. No. No, but I mean, this actually ties back into WWE. It ties back into, you know, Drew's stuff here, everything. And college football, and even, the new now deep fakes in the porn industry and all that sort of stuff. And it's been in the news recently that a lot of these, starlets and, these, famous people are relatively upset now that, you can go online and, I remember first seeing deep fakes back when we used to watch this show my kids and I did called, oh dear God, what was the name of the show now? Special Effects Guys React, I think is what it's called. It's on YouTube. The guys are fantastic. And they were doing deep fakes of like Keanu Reeves. And they had gotten a deep fake that was so good of Keanu Reeves, like you actually had to like, is this actually Keanu Reeves acting in this scene? I mean, you couldn't even tell. And deep fakes have gotten to the point now that the porn industry is coming in. And so, and I'm certainly not trying to advertise for them here, because I think, it's my opinion, they should not be allowed to do this, but they're basically put in your own head whatever actor or actress you've ever wanted to see in a compromising situation is the nicest way to say this, or doing something that maybe they've never done on film before, so to speak. Well, you can just go to certain sites and actually find deep fakes of them doing that. And how they do this is 2 actors or actresses or 3 actors or 4, whatever the scene is, will actually do the actual scene, but then they morph someone's face effectively onto that. I think morphing is the 1980s technology, or James Cameron or whatnot. But they can make it actually look like somebody who wasn't even in the scene, which I think is fascinating. But to me, this comes down to just, we talk about trademarks all the time, but people have a right to their name, image, and likeness. Like, so in other words, I can't go out there, and we always talk about this around the office. I can't go out there and start like, you got Paul Newman salad dressing back from my era. You got Michael Jordan Nissan down the road. I can't do these things. I can't put a picture of Michael Jordan on my basketballs and sell them as Michael Jordan basketballs, because I don't own the rights to his image. I haven't figured out why these porn sites aren't just getting sued by these people, because they're artificially appropriating their image and such, right? You guys want to chime in on this?
I don't have too much to say about it.
You guys are both like, no.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have too much to say about it, other than because I haven't seen. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of pictures out there of famous people's heads being put on different bodies and whichever. Ripped Keanu Reeves, which he's already ripped, but I obviously, my first taste of it was when I watched that episode on Black Mirror, which was really shocking to me. And I was actually scared for our future. I'm like, and because I know there was obviously an actor uproar. I can't remember exactly when that was most recently, but actors were protesting about basically their likeness getting taken away from them and being used without their permission. I think the actors on Stranger Things did it as well. So a lot of, if you guys remember, like literally just recently, there was a huge flux of actors and actresses just declining to be filmed anymore. So.
Well, that was, I believe, a major component of the recent Screen Actors Guild Association's contract negotiations with the bosses that be over in Hollywood. Is that I think Hollywood wanted to basically appropriate their name, image, and likenesses, because as deep fake. So why should I pay Ryan Gosling $35 million to sing and dance on, the next, the Barbie sequel or whatever, when I can just get another actor, can pay them $20,000 for it, and then just deep fake it so it looks like Ryan Gosling. And that's where, Hollywood was going to make a lot of money. And somehow, some entertainment lawyer picked up on this in the negotiations, and he's like, whoa, wait a minute. We ain't doing that. We are not signing over our name, image, likeness. By the way, the other way we saw this, sort of really come to a head recently, it's one of the reasons why we have the NIL deals in college athletics now, is the California legislature basically took a look at the antiquated NCAA rules, and they were just like, wait a minute. So everyone can make money off of these kids, but they're not even allowed to make, money off of their own name, image, and likeness, which was sort of started many years ago by a guy named Ed O'Bannon, who is a former NBA basketball player, played basketball at UCLA. And he was playing like EA Sports one day, great players of all time, college basketball. And he's like, that's me in the game. And then he was just like, and Ed, in my opinion, properly was like, not to be the materialistic weasel here, but why am I making a nickel on this? And because, everyone else is making a nickel on his back, why shouldn't he be making a nickel on his back? So that sort of started all of this, which is AC Devine, as you become more and more famous within your wrestling career, whether or not you own your trademarks in this entertainment industry, you're always going to own that sultry look that you've got on your picture that I'm looking at right now, and all that. But that's going to be yours, and no one can misappropriate that and sell, spaghetti sauce without your opinion, or excuse me, without your, without your consent, and honestly, without a license from you. So tying this back up into a nice bow. So even though, you always want to have that trademark and, your trademark name or, whatnot, especially if it's being used in goods and services, but as you enter into someone else's airwaves, you may have to give up on the trademark. Your name, image, likeness is something that's always going to be yours, but you got to look out for the contracts to make sure if you give them a perpetual license or something for it. But then once again, you tie this back into, Jacob, what you were just saying with the, the concern over many of, shall I say, more everyday actors, not everyday actors, non-porn actors, non-adult film actors, I guess, is now their images are being misappropriated and morphed or, deep faked onto other actors and actresses that are performing things that they never did. To me, it's just a straight up, misappropriation of name, image, and likeness lawsuit against the website owners that are broadcasting out these porn videos. And I'm not quite sure why they just haven't done that. That said, that I think they have a very strong cause of action. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I haven't read the statutes right, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. So there you go.
Awesome. Well, I think we covered both subjects pretty well today. Andrew, I just have one final question for you. If you were a spaghetti sauce, would you be regular old boring spaghetti sauce? Would you be Alfredo? Would you be ragu? What would you be? Marinara, maybe?
I think Alfredo.
Speaking Alfredo?
Yeah.
Matt said something about spaghetti sauce before, so I just thought it'd be a good question to ask. Matt, what kind of spaghetti sauce would you be?
A lot of meat, baby. A lot of meat.
Meat sauce.
The meat.
Don't
All
ever
right.
ask me a question you don't know the answer to. Come on.
Thank you, Matt, so much for that one. That made my day right there. Alrighty, guys. Well, just to wrap things up, again, we are Small Business Chat here, sponsored by the Trademark Company. When you have a new product launching, or if you want to share any ideas with us, reach out to us so we can feature you on the next podcast. Andrew, again, thank you for joining us today. We love talking to new or established business owners, or like Andrew, he's in the entertainment business but has his own technical brand. We just want to help everyone, achieve success here at the Trademark Company and Small Business Chat. If you're a business owner in need of brand protection, the first thing you want to do is file a trademark. So make sure you start doing that as soon as possible, and head on over to the Trademark Company's website so you can talk to one of our live agents. For now, that's all that we have. Stay tuned for our next podcasts, where we have businesses join and share useful information and knowledge to the world. I hope everyone has a great day. Thank you again, Andrew, for joining us.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.